Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Spooky Japan Podcast. Hoping everyone is doing well out there. Today we have someone who he's been on the show before, but he was on more in the beginning when me and Irene was still trying to figure out this whole podcast thing. So we're really happy that he was willing to come back. So welcome Sean to Spooky Japan Podcast. How have you been?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. It's not as hot here in Japan anymore. It was a hot one this summer.
Yeah, not
It
the
was like
cold one.
30s this morning here.
No,
Like,
it's in the
ooh,
60. It's like 60 degrees out right now. So it's not.
Okay.
It was like it was in like what the high 90s, Irene, to now 60.
mhm,
So
Mm,
it's a nice change.
yeah.
mm. But now it's cold.
Mhm. Yeah,
So for
I'd rather have the heat than the cold.
yeah,
Yeah, I like the heat better. But depending on what kind of heat you're talking about,
Mhm.
so
blazing
for our
heat.
listeners who might not have caught you before, might not be aware of who you are, how would you introduce yourself and also let them know where your journey in paranormal began?
I'm Sean Bowman, owner and lead investigator, Bump of the Night Society. Um, Bump of the Night Society was formed in 2020. I was part of a group before that called Celestial Oddities Paraseekers. Um, and I was doing solo stuff and stuff like that back in the day too. And I mean, my first experience is when I was a little kid, probably like 4 or 5 years old.
That's a long time to be into the paranormal, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember having any experiences back then?
I mean, the first time I had an experience, like I said, I was like 4 or 5, and I was in my house that I used to live in when I was a little kid. Brother was 6 years older than me. We were building with mini bricks on the dining room table, and we both saw a guy like walk through the hallway in a trench coat, and like went and told my dad and looked through the whole house, and obviously didn't see anything. Um, there was other times in that house too. Nothing like how it is on TVs or movies. It wasn't like every day. It was like maybe 5 things that happened in 25 years that I lived there. But there was other stuff that happened over a time frame.
When
Mm.
was so you started the team in 2020? Did you do any investigations or teams like before that?
Yeah, I was part of Celestial Oddities Paraseekers before that. Um, that was I used to do music, and my one buddy was looking for people to join his paranormal group, and so like I ended up joining up with him, and then we kind of started Celestial Oddities, and then now it's still going on. He has a separate group. Like we're still friends and everything. We hang out, and
Mm.
two of our new members actually that just joined today, I've known for years, but they're part of his group too. So they're kind of like dual members.
Mm.
It's interesting. A lot of people go through different teams, and we always tell people that's okay. I don't know why people feel like they need to stay with one team. If you need to grow, go ahead
Mm.
and do it.
Well, they're still with them too. Like, and I told, like I said, I'm good friends with the owner of that company, and I told them their stuff will take priority. Like, so they'll just come and help out when they can and everything. And then I'm good friends with all three of them, so it's really cool.
Yeah, that's at least yeah. Where has been your favorite place to investigate?
Uh, it depends. I mean, I like most active. Um, I think Monroe House is pretty active. Octagon House is pretty active. But like favorite wise, I mean, we've always went to Bel Air. Like that's pretty common. We go every year. We usually have our Thanksgiving event. This year, I think we're doing a Christmas event because they're booked through November, so we're going to do a Christmas event this year instead. Um, but like I said, for activity wise, especially Octagon House, like it's such a small place, but
Mhm.
there's so much stuff that has happened. I've been there well, 2 different times, 3 different nights. Because the one time we were there for a full week, and the other time I was only there for one night, and we've always had something crazy happen there.
I love Octagon now. I love that place. One of my favorite places. Has there ever been an experience that maybe have been that almost made you too scared to go back?
The possession thing at Bel Air that I saw when like that was the first time I was at Bel Air. Um, I might have told this story last time because I always tell this story. I'm not sure, but yeah, we were doing Estes in the living room, and the one guy was not part of our group, but he was in our group. Started like crying and stuff, and we brought him outside, blessed him, saged him, did this ceremony, and like as we're doing the ceremony, the candles were like flickering, like went completely out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we heard like "Get Out" come from behind, and me and April were holding his hand. We heard "Get
Mm-hmm.
Out," and then he kept saying something was crawling down the hall, and it was on the ceiling, and it's not a little girl because the entity's supposed to be a little girl at that house. Well, one
Mm-hmm.
of the entities. And the thing is, too, I slept in the room where she's supposed to be at too the whole weekend. But yeah, that was the only time I've actually probably been scared that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, there's been some times where I'm like, wow, like, can you swear on here or no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
because there's been some times where I'm like, holy shit, but I wouldn't say I'm scared. Like I'm just like, you get goosebumps and you're like, wow, this is amazing.
I think it's evidence like that that just makes it more worthwhile, but also kind of proves there
Hmm.
is something else out there. Definitely. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's just your your imagination, but stuff like that. They're like, yeah, no, this shit is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your bucket list for places to like investigate?
Um, I mean, in America, I want to go to the Winchester Mystery House. I've always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go there. Um, I always thought like this is kind of well, two places I want to go that are probably not really attainable. Is Chernobyl. I'd love to go to Chernobyl.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but another one, like I kind of want to go, kind of like to like an indigenous tribe type of place, like where people are off beaten path and they have like the old temples and people don't get to go there. I always thought
Mm-hmm.
that would be pretty cool.
There's a lot of places in Japan that are definitely haunted here. There is some, I didn't know this till I started researching it, but there are some temples here built just to basically trap a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
They use some kind of statues, they put them in the north, south, east, west part of the temple to kind of trap it in there.
Okay.
And then unfortunately, if one of those statues breaks, it's believed that's where it can escape.
Hmm.
Mm.
It's always so funny to me, and Irene can also tell you, it's funny how like a lot of things here in Japan go around spirits. However, the paranormal is not acknowledged acknowledged here at all. Like it's
Yeah.
one of those things where they avoid. There is no demonologist here. There is no one here that can. If you wanted your house cleansed or blessed, we don't really have anyone here to call to do that. So you're on your own on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I just came back a couple of days ago from a place called Nico Shrine, and I've been there
Hmm.
1,000 times before, and it never bothered me. And I was walking up the staircase. The last part of the staircase was the part of where the tombs are, where they're supposed to be unturned at. And I couldn't walk up the staircase. I got so sick. Like I was
Oh, well.
heaving, dry heaving. And
Hmm.
I said, I told my husband, I can't walk up these staircases. I can't do it. And so I had to walk back down again. We went inside the shrine. I kind of like prayed to the gods. I said, help me because I don't feel good. And they kind of like got rid of whatever that was attacking me. And it was a whole bunch of samurai warriors who were fighting, who were who were kind of like stopping me from going to the shrine. And I got really sick. I mean, I usually I usually can able to go up the last set of staircases, but this time I just couldn't do it. I came back down again. And I said, "There's something wrong here," and it was the shrine to entrap the spirits there because it was really bad. The fighting was so bad long time ago.
Did you feel
The
better after you
whole
left, or
the whole area was so haunted.
did you feel better after you left?
I felt better after I went inside the shrine and prayed, and I
Mm.
came out and they said, "Okay, I'm hungry," and that's it. And, and it seems like they got rid of whatever it was that was attacking me. But it was
That's good.
one of those places where I've been there thousands of times before. It didn't bother me until that last time when we went there. And I said, "Nah." And we told our friends, "You can go up you can go up the mountain. You can go up the mountain. You can go up the side of the mountain. You can go to the tombs." But they wouldn't let me near the tombs, and it was something unbelievable. Like
Mm.
I've been there 4 or 5 times before, because I
Yeah.
used to live near that area, and there's no, it didn't bother me. But mm, I don't know what it was that bothered me. I don't know what it was, but it hit me as soon as I went in that whole area. I got a whole bunch of pictures of the area. I think I posted it too. That whole area is so dark, and it's just the middle of the mountains. It's beautiful. It's just a gorgeous place, and there's a whole bunch of beautiful pagodas and statues and stuff like that. And they have gates, and it's a lovely place to visit.
Mm.
But and that day was gloomy. It was raining out. I know that attracts energy right when it rains,
Yeah.
and it was cloudy, and it was just one of those days where no, you're not going up this mountain. I go, okay.
Were you by yourself or were you with somebody or?
I was with Boozy Brothers. My husband said, "Let's go for a day trip." I go, "Oh, sure, okay. We'll go to the shrine and we'll go to the waterfall and we'll have some fun." I go, "Okay, we'll do that." But yeah, that morning it started to rain here. It got really nasty out really quick. And then by the time we got there, it was like it was it wasn't dark. It wasn't dark out because it was still in the afternoon. It was early on in the afternoon, and we just yeah, it wouldn't let me go. Obviously, it didn't like me for
Was
some
anybody
reason.
else affected or just you?
Just me.
Hmm.
And I saw all these samurai warriors fighting and and killing each other with swords, and oh, I said, yeah, not do this. I was doing this. Like, oh, help me, please. Let me go up this last mountain. I promise I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
And they said, "Nah, you can't go up the mountain." I go, "Okay, we won't let you go up the mountain." I go, "Okay, I'll go back down." So I just have to, okay, I'll listen to you. I won't do it. Yeah, I wasn't scared, but I knew it. I just knew it. They didn't want me there. So you just learn and you go, okay, go with the flow, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really any rhyme or reason when you go to a haunted location of what you're gonna pick up or anything like that. I mean, we wish there was, but there's not any. It's
No.
always different, and that's always one thing we say on here is it's always different. You
Hmm.
can go to the same location 100 times, and each time it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Well, that's
But
like
this.
the Hinsdale house, which I've been to, I think 3 times. I've
Hmm.
never had anything negative happen there, but I know a lot of people who have, and some people won't talk about it and won't go back.
Mm,
I feel like that'd be the place to go, though.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
Well,
it
the
is a
whole
night.
house was, they did an exorcism on the house itself because,
Oh
like they said,
yeah.
there was something like in the house itself. Yeah.
It. You know.
I'm
It's
assuming the
just.
cleansing didn't take, or did it take?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was used to be like it's called the Hinsdale house now. It was the Dandy house before that because I think the family lived there was the Dandies. And I
Mhm.
think it was back when the Dandies lived there, which I want to say was like the 70s or 80s is when they did the exorcism on the house. But obviously, they're still having activity. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't had anything negative really happen to me there. But like I
Mhm.
know people that, like I said, won't go back there because they've seen stuff and they won't talk about it. One thing that
Mhm.
we did capture on there, which was kind of cool, is the house isn't that big. We left the house and they have a giving tree for the Native Americans up the hill. So we went to the giving tree, left the
Mhm.
camera running in there, and on the camera you see like it looks like a hand come around the camera, and like we were all up on
Mhm.
the hill, so I don't know what that was, but
Yeah.
we saw faces and stuff, and in the closet too. Because there's supposed to be like a portal in the closet, and
Mm,
there's a mirror in the closet. And I was trying to get something to come through the mirror. Like I told it, like, come through the mirror. And we took
mm,
pictures, and there's two different faces, and they both don't look friendly. Like the one has like a mohawk and glowing eyes, and the other one
mm.
looked kind of like demonic too. So I don't know if that was anything or just like pareidolia or whatever, but it was kind of creepy.
Irene is trying to. Oh, you trying to talk to it?
I'm trying to see because I can see in that house, and it's just there are some bad spirits, but there's also some good spirits in that house. So it's a conflict of interest in that place.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if something did something bad to make that
Well,
place
yeah,
do
they
that.
they say I'm not sure how much is true and how much is legend, but I know that there was supposedly, I think, a pair of brothers or something that like used to like they were like stagecoach robbers, and they supposedly, I don't know, killed people on the property or something. That's according to the story. I might be a little bit off on that, but I know it's something like that.
Yeah, because that's really freaky. Because
But they see like puck wedgies there too, like the cryptid or whatever, and all
Hmm.
sorts of weird stuff supposed to happen like in the woods and all that property too. There's supposed to
Also,
be
mm,
a woman out on the pond, like I think a woman in white or something that shows up on the pond. And there is actual graves, not by the house, they're further away, but like on the property.
mm. So if somebody did something bad on the property, right? You're
That's what
gonna
I've heard.
get that. You're gonna get that really freaky negative energy.
Mhm.
Because I remember I helped my friend do this house, cleanse the house, and somebody killed somebody on the property, right? But that property was also Native American property.
Mhm.
And because they killed somebody on the property, you got this really bad skinwalker that was on the property. And it just created a whole bunch of you know what.
Mhm.
And I
Well,
got
there's
through with
supposed to
it.
be they have a hanging tree too there. I think it's a little bit down the road. But supposedly
Mm,
like something I guess happened with that tree too. I'm not exactly sure either. I mean, it's been a while since I've been there. Usually, like when we are there recently, I'll remember all the history. But like I said, it's been probably a year or two since the last time I was there.
mm, because it could have tainted the soil on the property, and you don't know why.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen.
it's not just that, but I find like a lot of the bigger haunted places a lot of people book and go to.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons why you can go there 100 times. It's going to be different. Is
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize what they're doing, and they open more doors, or they
Yeah.
Hmm.
invite more spirits in. And a
Yeah.
lot of people, like we've talked to a location owner, and they said one of their rules is like no Ouija boards, no
Yeah.
seances,
Yeah.
and then they'll occasionally find people still doing seances in the house, and they're just like, yeah, no, not here.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. There's a
you
couple
know, I
places
think
like
a
that.
lot of we realize that a lot of people think they know what they're doing when it comes to like seances and stuff like that
Hmm.
because they've seen it in a movie, and it's like you actually don't know what you're doing. Don't look at a movie like, yeah, that's how you do it. I can do that. It's easy. Then you just say goodbye and the portal closes. And I'm like, it's
Not really. Right.
Yeah. Well, that's
Um.
like with that movie yesterday that I saw. They do like a blood ritual on there. And me and my daughter went and saw the movie, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, they shouldn't be showing this to people because they influence all these teenage girls and stuff, and like you're gonna have all these people out here trying to do the same stuff they were doing. They're gonna end up bringing something
that's what's
bad out with them.
yeah. I can see that now happening that you say that. I'm picturing that. Like with all the younger people they influence, that's definitely going to be the thing where they'll
Yeah,
be doing that. Like I saw it on a movie, this is how they did it. I know what I'm doing. Trust me.
yeah.
Trust you. Yeah, that's the last thing I would trust. Sorry, no, I didn't trust you. Like, what the heck are you doing, right? Yeah, there's a lot of that going around.
One thing I always find fascinating at some haunted locations is I always wondered if like the not so good spirits is holding back the good spirits there,
Mm-hmm.
like not letting them leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems kind of common at a couple properties. I know.
Yeah, because there's been properties where, and I've always wondered why this happens, but there's always it seems to be a spirit who
Mm-hmm.
kind of is the boss of other spirits, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
how are you bossing around other spirits? And it's
There's.
not a demon or anything. It is someone who legitimately, it is the spirit of someone
Yeah.
who died there, and they just happen to. There's other spirits there, and for some odd reason, the other spirits they say seem to be afraid of this dude because
Mm-hmm.
he tells them what to do, and if he says don't talk, they stop talking.
Yeah. It's like
Like
there's
they
a.
almost need like that dude's permission sometimes to talk at some places. And I always wonder how do spirits get I don't want
It.
to say the boss, but basically like control other spirits.
There's. I usually
Mm.
call it the guardian. The guardian controls all. They even do that in a cemetery. You notice that? You have the top one, and you have all these other ones that are below them, and they tell them don't talk or say, and then you'll find sometimes you might get an EVP of a very small, faint voice, and you get the guardian of saying, "Yeah, you can't talk to this person, or you can't talk, or get out of here." Right?
Mm.
I want to call them a guardian when they're like the ones that are the meanest.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we've heard of the location on here where there's a location where one spirit seems to tell every other spirit in that house what to do, and they
yeah.
all
Mhm.
listen. But he's the one who threatens people the most in EVPs. So I definitely wouldn't call him a guardian
Mm,
because he's definitely not friendly.
no,
Yeah.
He's
Well,
just
that's like,
more
I
of a
mean, there's mean people in real life. I mean, if you're mean in real life, you're probably mean in death too. You know.
yeah. So we
yeah.
say how you are in life is obviously how you are in death. So
Yeah.
definitely expect those spirits to be mean.
Mhm.
When I do residential, I usually get rid of the guardian first, and then I can cross over all the other ones in the house. So yeah, the guardian's the most meanest, the most toughest SOB to get rid of,
Yeah.
and you literally have to kick him out because he's not gonna move on his own, and he'll say,
Mhm.
"Well, I'm not gonna listen to." Oh yes, you're gonna listen to me whether you like it or not. You're gonna
Mhm.
go whether you like it or not, and I'm gonna kick you out. And you don't like it, that's too bad. So,
Mhm.
when I do residentials, those are the first ones who I usually come across of, and the ones that I usually have to get rid of first. Mm, And yeah, like one session can usually take about 6 hours. I've done
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I've done a 6 hour investigation, a 6 hour kick out contest, right? It get low down nasty too, but yeah, I've done that. Ugh. Like, ugh.
We're
Like,
supposed to be doing a residential this weekend. I don't know if it's happening yet or not. I'm waiting to hear back from the woman, but it's supposed to be this Saturday, I think.
mm, I love residentials. Some people don't like them, but yeah, it's kind
Just
of
because that you can't do it the same way you would like
yeah,
if you booked a haunted location like over in America.
Well,
yeah,
it's hard to like sort out mental problem versus actual paranormal. You know.
yeah. It is. It is. It is. It is. Um, but yeah, I find it kind of like fun. Kind of like I dark. I'm a kind of like dark humor, right? It
Mhm.
it is fun, but it takes a lot of energy out of you when you do residential.
Mhm.
Ugh, like you better be prepared. to go through a lot of shit when you do one, and after you finish, you need to take a 5 hour rest afterwards. Like I
I'm
said,
always
after I
suspicious
finished.
of people who claim they cleansed the house but took like an hour, hour and a half.
Mm,
I'm like, why? Are you sure? Because, like you said, Irene, usually it can take up to 6 hours.
yeah,
We've heard from other people who do it; they can take 6 to 8 hours,
yeah.
Yeah.
if not multiple sessions. So when people are like, "Yeah, hour done,"
Ha! Never.
Hmm.
Like that's like, ha! Like that. And sometimes you may do. Uh you may think that you've done enough then, but then you have to go back and finish it off later on, which you didn't find, which you found later on again, and then you have to go back and you have to, okay, I've done that part, I've done that part, and I guess I missed this one because there were too many people in the house and I couldn't find what I could see, and then I finally went back. I got rid of the other ones, and then yeah,
Hmm.
it it just, and depending on how many people go in that one place, like you only need one or two. You only need two people. You don't need any more than that. I mean, the more people you have, the harder it is to find something and to stop whatever that's going on there and to create harmony and peace in a house. That it's just, yeah, the more people you have, the harder it is. And you say, how many people are going with you in that place? They said, well, just five. I said, yeah, not doing that. That's not going to happen. Five is just a little bit too many because you can't concentrate. And you got all these people doing all kinds of noise and crazy stuff. He said, yeah, we got to go back. And he said, okay, how many people should I take? Just you and the other person. That's all that works. He goes, okay, we did that. Yeah, it just gets too noisy and you really can't concentrate, right?
Hmm.
no, there is
So,
a team I could no longer investigate when I was in the States. And the lead investigator still doesn't understand why. And it's like, because you don't respect people's rules. And one of it is because he's one of those people who's hoping to eventually make a TV show out of it. But he's doing it the wrong way, where it was someone called him for a residential, but they said, look, it's only a single family house. So we only want 3 people, 4 at most.
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew the owner, and they begged me to be one of the people and go. And they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, please, I trust you. I really want you to be one of the people. I had to tell them no because I
Mm-hmm.
saw the group chat, and they said, like I said, 3, maybe 4 people max for
Yeah.
it's a single family home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw the group. That's what the owner told me too. That's what they said. And I told them, I was like, look, I saw the group chat where he posted in there. He said, I want everyone involved. So I was like, I don't want to go because I feel like there's going to be more than 4 people there. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to go
Yeah.
when I know it's going to be, it's something that you said, this is what I'm comfortable with. I know more than 4 people is going to be against your wishes. I don't want to go then. I'll go
No.
back later,
Yeah.
but not that investigation. And I'm glad I didn't because I talked to the owner the next day, and they said they literally showed up with 12 people.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, you're kidding,
Yes.
really?
And I was like, this is why I didn't want to go. Is he said he wanted all hands so he could film, and I'm like, yeah, not in a single person's house. And his whole reasoning was, oh, I'm trying to create a show. So I'm trying to get as many people involved as I can. We're like, yeah, but they don't show up with 12 people to a small single family home. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
how many people get to film with their stuff? Like, well, they don't have usually like a lot of the same people there. Usually also the family. You might do the interview beginning and then the family kind of leaves. Obviously, this is real life. It doesn't work that way. the family is still there. So you have to account for when you account for how many people that the family is still gonna be there,
Mhm.
usually.
Yeah, that's like the residential case that we're supposed to do this weekend. She just lives in an apartment, so it was just going to be me and two other people. Um, I wanted to bring a camera guy, but he can't make it, and then, like I said, it'll probably be too cramped anyway. So we probably won't even end up filming it.
Mm, you know, residentials are really sticky. You gotta be. You gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta do it right the first time.
'Cause you
You
Yeah,
can make
can't.
it worse. I've heard
You,
of people afterwards
yeah.
who, when they ask how did it go, and they're like, "Whatever they did made this thing more mad, now it's worse."
Mhm.
yeah,
And I was like, "Don't do residentials if you truly don't know what you're doing. If they
Yeah.
have to call another team to come fix whatever you did,
Mhm.
yeah.
just don't. Stick
Like
to other."
I did a house in Alabama, and they had one team come in. I had to fix up their mess, and fix, and their mess was a real big mess. What they did, so I had to find their trail, what they did, and stop it. And yeah, see, oh God, I'm like, who'd you bring in? Oh, we brought in we had a person who came in who said that they're really good in the paranormal group and they knew what they were doing and they tried to help us. And this, yeah, they made it worse.
Mhm.
And they were really angry too. Those,
Well,
Oh, she'll be back in. It always happens to her. I think one of my biggest pet peeves in the paranormal. There she is.
yeah, yeah,
I was saying,
it's,
don't worry, this happens to Irene all the time. She'll be back.
oh,
Because people are like, how come we don't worry about Irene when she gets kicked out? She'll be back. It happens
yeah,
all the time.
it depends on the subject that I talk about. If it's really deep, I get kicked out. No, no worries. Sometimes I can't come back in again if that happens too. So yeah, I'm good. I'm cool. Like everything's spooky wooky with me. But go ahead, Amanda. Talk about what you were really trying to say before we
I was
something
saying
breaks.
one of my biggest pet peeves with some investigation teams when they go to a residential, and they even before they even get there, they advertise they're going to be going live throughout this residential that night, and I'm like, there is a difference in recording your investigation and going live, and it does
yeah,
irritate me when people go, like I said, go to this house, go into the residential, and go live throughout the whole entire thing, even if the people are like, "Well, the owner said they're okay with it." It's like I'd rather film and then publish later. Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
when you go live, you cannot edit what people saw, and you don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's going to come out. What if
Mm-hmm.
something personal was said, and they're like, "I didn't want the world knowing that, but you went live, so now it's out there for the world to know forever."
Yeah.
But
yeah. I
if
mean,
you,
we've kind of had stuff like that happen before because going back to Octagon House, uh, two of our guys were doing an SD session, and Jen or whatever was talking to them, and they talked about her brother having a heart attack, which I knew about it. She knew about it, but no one else knew about it, and that was like on a live. And I mean, it was kind of personal, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like how
and that's what
much?
I tell people: please do not go live during the
Yeah.
Mm,
residential. If you really insist on putting it out there, film, edit, because then you can edit stuff out that the rest of the world does not need to know or see,
Yeah.
and then you can put it on whatever you go on, Facebook, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah. It's you have to keep. That's why I usually have a clause in what I do. Like I don't talk about it. I will talk about it in general, but I'm not gonna
mm,
say where it is and what happened there because you know, there's a part where you have to keep it private,
Mhm.
and you just don't want anybody else knowing what you know for that one reason.
Yeah.
And it, and people are well, they want to try to make themselves famous, so they're trying to say everything and say, yeah, I've been there, we did this and this and this, and we saw this and this and this. I said, yeah, did you ever tell the owners that you could talk about this? And they said, well, no, I didn't. I said, well, I think you should, like, put
Yeah.
a lock on it right now, right? Because you're just going on and on and on. You just don't know when to use your judgment not to say anything. But
Yeah, you always got
yeah,
to get permission for the residential beforehand if if you're going to film anything. Which I mean, like I said, for this one on the weekend, we have permission, but like I said, I don't think I'm going to film anyway. I don't
yeah,
even know if it's happening yet either. Still,
you
but
know, you can film what you saw. You
Mhm.
can film what you the spirit that was in that room or whatever it is that the evidence. You can film the evidence, right? I think that would be really good as a teaching tool to others in that. Well, look at, see, this is what we saw here, this is what we did here to make the spirit come out. I can see that happening because that's information, that's a teaching tool. But other than that, and what it was, what was there, what was the problem with that spirit, why was that spirit haunting that place?
Mhm.
Those are the really good information that you could learn and that you could teach others. But yeah, yeah, even though you get permission, you just want to use it the right way, right?
Yeah,
And have that information on hand so you can say, okay, this is what we saw, this is how we dealt with the spirit. No, this is what we can learn to use on our next residential. I could see that happening,
Mhm.
and there's nothing wrong with that either, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I could see people doing that.
I don't know how
Oh,
many people actually watch other videos though for learning experiences though, especially in
yeah,
a paranormal today.
yeah. But I think all of it's a learning tool to me. I mean, you could also learn why that spirit was being really cranky, right?
Mhm.
That's also why, like, if I had a team at my house, I would not want to be live because I'm
No,
less likely to say anything to you because I'm like I don't need a bunch of
Yeah.
information.
true, true. But then, Amanda, but then again, remember I already told you that you have control over your home and you already know how to deal with it. So, yeah, I don't think you want anybody in your home. Right, Amanda?
I wouldn't want people going live. I'm
No.
like, I don't know what's gonna happen in my house or said in my house. Please don't go live.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always wondered. I'm like, I wonder if these people are truly okay with things being live in their house, or they're just told, "Oh, this is how it's done nowadays." Because I know a lot of people reaching out to some paranormal teams don't actually know what's normal. So if you're telling them, "Oh, going live is totally normal," they're not gonna
Oh.
be like, "Oh, okay." And it's not normal to just go public places. Yes, that's a little bit different than someone's
Yeah.
house though. Because some people are like, well, if you've gone live at the location, I'm like, yeah, but that was a public location where other
Oh.
people can book to go. So it's not like it's a secret place. Because the families, a lot of times when you go residentials, you probably shouldn't. No, you shouldn't say like Irene was saying earlier. Give the house identity away or give the family identity away either,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because that could follow them for forever. with people on
Especially
social
imagine
media.
if you had children. Imagine if the kids at school saw that
Yeah.
video. Oh God! Like, haha,
That's,
your house is haunted. You got a lot of nasty weirdos. You're a weirdo because your house is haunted. Yeah,
mm.
you don't want to do that.
Yeah, we did a residential with one of our friends, and we filmed it, but we haven't released any of it. Like I still have all the footage from it. I mean, nothing too crazy happened anyway, but
Mm,
yeah, we never put it out.
yeah, I always, I always wish I could document my residentials because they're all different, and
Mm.
its bits are there all different, and both of them are hauntings. One of them I had was a visitation, and yeah, it was really interesting, but it's also really creepy, dude. I
Well, it
don't
seems
know.
like a lot of these like conventions and stuff, you'll get people coming up to you like, "Oh, my house is haunted. You guys should come investigate." And then you give them a business card, and then you never hear from them again. Like that happens
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah. You just wonder, are you creating stuff in your house to make it haunted?
Mm.
Do you, you know, because if you're fighting all the time, or if your family has issues all the time, or your children are at each other's throats all the time, do you know that you can create this situation in your home and to make it like that? And they said, "Oh no, I didn't know that." And I said, "Yeah, quit
Yeah.
fighting, quit creating problems in your home, because then you might find the energy might change, right?" And they said, "Oh, okay, like, I didn't think of that. You should think of that, right?" It, it just makes a whole lot of difference because you what you are, what you create, right?
Mm.
And it happens in any place in the working area, in the home, like wherever you do, or whatever you go to, or whatever, how you react and how you conduct yourself creates that aura that's with you. And if you mess up this way, you mess up everywhere else where you go. And you bring that with you, and it's stuck with you until you get rid of it yourself
Yeah.
and try to fix it yourself. Then you can probably move forward and create a better you that makes your environment a lot healthier mentally and physically.
Mm.
So yeah. And they'll say, "Oh, how do I stop it? Quit fighting. That's all." Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Probably
uh,
easier said than done, though.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
Mhm.
true. But yeah, but it takes a lot to. Hey, open up your eyes. You got to see what you're doing. You're creating this. That's why you have that energy in your home. And if you don't stop the energy, it's gonna make it worse, right?
Mhm.
A place with conflict, people with conflict creates that dark energy, and you got to get rid of that, right? You got to get rid of that yourself.
Yeah,
If you
there
don't get,
is I forgot what it's called. It starts with an I. There is a Japanese urban legend
hmm
that you can actually see a ghost of a living person. And they say how that is formed is, let's say I have a grudge against you
hmm
and it's strong enough,
hmm
it can that energy from that hate can manifest itself into, like I said, a ghost of a living person and come after you.
hmm
Mm.
And I can,
yeah,
once I heard that, I thought about that. I'm like, no, that makes sense. I mean, we have poltergeists that we feel like our energy in the house can
hmm
Yeah.
do. So why can't our grudge against someone create that same energy and go after them too?
Mm.
yeah. That's why you have to be really careful. know, you have to be extremely careful. Especially if you live in an old place where there's lots of energy, how you conduct yourself. Because you might bring something that you might manifest something, right? That's true, too.
Back's
I
hurt.
kind of like agree with that, Amanda. I kind of like agree with that one.
Yeah, I mean, once I heard that, I'm like, that makes sense. I can see how that would happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
When we believe in poltergeist activity from energy in the house, why can't our grudge against someone create something and go after them?
That's kind of like the evil eye or like the Maluk
Yeah,
or something like that. Like you can kind of put that vibe out.
Yeah. I kind of like I kind of like agree with that one too.
I think it goes to the whole thing of forgive others, not for them, but for yourself.
Yeah,
And
me
you have to
too.
forget what they did, but at least forgive, and that makes sense. That you're not holding on to that anger so much and manifest into the ghost of you.
Hmm.
Literally, people will see the ghost of you, and you'll still be alive.
Mm.
Because then a lot of people are like, there's no way you can see a ghost of someone who's still alive. I'm like, well, Japanese legend says you can. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of people have said they've seen it, where they've seen a ghost of someone go after them. And they're like, that's weird. It was my neighbor, and I went to go check on my neighbor, thinking something happened, and they're living and well. And I was like, well, I hate to break it to you, but that neighbor does not like you.
Mm.
Mm.
If they're ghosts, if they're alive, and their ghosts get after you. They hold a grudge. So you might want to figure out what you did.
Yeah.
But guess what? You can be your worst enemy of yourself, right?
Mhm.
So I get that too.
What are you trying to
Mm.
say? You see a ghost of yourself coming after you?
Mm.
What's that?
Irene says you can be your own worst enemy, though. And I'm like, so that theory, then going back to that, what you see a ghost of yourself trying to come after you,
Mm.
Yeah.
then you just assume it was a mimic. A mimic, then?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Even like a doppelganger, possibly too.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I I get that.
Mhm.
I think I wouldn't be afraid of myself, but I think twice about it, right?
Mhm.
um,
Would fight me.
I was gonna ask you. I asked you that before the show happened. Like in this field, if you're with your significant other doing this together, I'm wondering, could it create tension within your family doing this kind of job and knowing that you've been to places? I'm wondering with you, do you think that it could muster up some things where um you're with your significant other, but all of a sudden you can't stand each other anymore, and that it creates that kind of energy where you don't, where you feel that you were with this before together and now you're no longer anymore. And I'm just, because there are people who do this as a job, as a living for their livelihood, find
Mhm.
that they cannot stand each other anymore because I'm wondering if it brings energy to that situation that makes them
Well,
can't.
spirits definitely will
Yeah.
find not just your relationships, but anything, even
Yeah.
in something you feel guilty about in the past. And it could
Yeah.
be like the smallest dumb mistake you make. They will
Yeah.
all of a sudden amplify it to feed off of whatever emotion it creates. It'll
Yeah.
make you more angry, more angry at yourself for what you did,
Yeah.
just because it wants to feed off that energy. to,
and,
I
and
guess,
it's
be more powerful or just be the energy
yeah,
itself.
and also it could create death too. It you could find yourself that you're sick now and you can't do anything anymore, and your body just gives out. You know how far do you go to find yourself that you're dying because you've been doing this job because probably you went to a certain place that
Well, I wouldn't call this
created,
a job sense unless
well,
this majority of us don't get paid.
yeah, well,
I mean, we wish we could make this a job, but it's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
For me it's my job. I'm just wondering that, you
Yeah, but
know
it's nothing you make money off of. It's nothing you
no,
charge people for.
no, yeah,
And a true paranormal investigator
yeah,
should not be charging. I know a lot of people do,
yeah,
which surprises me because when I first started, I thought it was a unspoken rule that you don't charge people.
yeah,
Yeah.
And some people say, well, traveling expenses, if they're far away, I might want to get reimbursed. I'm like, that's different than
yeah,
getting paid
Yeah.
because some people ask for an outrageous amount of money. And I'm like,
hmm
well, what if you don't solve anything?
yeah,
I'm giving you a crap load of money for you to come, and you may or may not resolve the situation.
yeah. And then you may have to go back 2 or 3 times just to fix whatever
I'm
happened,
not if
right?
I have to pay you, I'm definitely not paying you to come back.
No, yeah,
You better be 100% certain that you're gonna resolve my issue that night, because 'cause I'm not paying you to come back,
yeah, true,
especially how much some of these people charge, what I've heard.
yeah,
You see, I don't think I ever came across anybody. Like I might have heard rumors, but nobody that I personally know has ever charged anybody.
I personally know either, but I've had heard of people who they'll call their team and they said whoever they talked to before was requesting like $1,000. They're trying to see what their rate was, and they're like, we don't. I'm not going to charge you to come out,
Hmm.
and please do not go with a person charging you, especially that outrageous amount. Like
Yeah.
that is an outrageous amount too. If I give you $1,000, my house better be blessed and cleansed and resolved everything else by that
Yeah.
night. Because I'm like that. People should just not be charging in general for their services to come out. That's why it amazes me when people do charge to come out. Like I said, that was an unspoken rule when I first started. Then I hear people charging, and that's outrageous. But a lot of people also feed into that fear online. Like I think everyone has gotten those messages online where it was like, I was drawn to you, Sean, by your profile. Your energy
Yeah.
spoke to me. Contact me for a reading. It's free. But then they somehow, if you message those people, because I've gotten bored and messaged some of those people, they all say the same thing where do some random reading or say some random things. And then they'll be
Yeah.
like, I see a spirit attached to you. And that's why you have bad luck and things. And you start thinking about other, things that happen in your life, maybe that you could have bad luck. And it's just life in general. They're like, yeah, I see an attachment to you, and it's just gonna get worse if you don't pay me $250 to do this cleanse. I'm like, yeah, no,
Mhm.
I'm good.
Yeah. I don't
I
usually buy into
wondered if you,
a lot of that
I
type of
wondered
stuff.
if you want the 1 to 6 more. I'm like, yeah, no, no way.
yeah. Sorry about that. I had to do something. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um. I don't know.
I was just saying
It's.
about how some people online feed into the fear and they will contact people, you know,
Mm,
like if you comment on something on someone's post and all of a sudden they reply to your comment saying, Irene, I was drawn to your energy and your energy is calling to me. I'm gonna give you a free reading. And then if you message them, it's some random thing said followed by I see a dark entity attached to you and if
wow.
you don't make it, and it's like it's just gonna get worse, harm your family, or maybe kill them if you don't pay me $250 to do this cleanse, 500 for the more strong one, whatever it is, or whatever
Yeah.
they word it. I'm like, yeah, okay, no. And the worst part is some people say in those groups that a lot of people fall for them. Like, oh no, what do you mean a dark entity is attached to me? It's gonna hurt me and my family. Here it is. Here's money, and they keep on.
Yeah.
I
Or
mean, that's
I'm
why
gonna go to
you gotta
hell
pretty
if
much
I
tell
don't do
them.
this.
You gotta pretty much tell them you don't believe or whatever. That'll make them back off a little bit. Because I had somebody contact me before, wanted to do like a reading or whatever, and I was like, honestly, I don't believe 95% of psychics out there. So I was like, you're pretty much wasting your time. Like, I'm not going to pay you to give me a reading.
Nah.
I don't pay for readings either,
No.
Mm.
because for that reason, I'm like, I'm not paying for a
No.
reading.
And usually I get passed over. I go, they're giving free readings on the stream, and I go, well, I said hi, and I said, can I have a reading? I usually do that just to bug the hell out of them, right? And then they don't do it, and they pass me over. I go, holy shit! Yeah, you missed me. Can't you just give me a free reading, please? If they don't do it, they go, must be that hard to read, right? Okay. Or else, oh yeah, I'm gonna call you out in your BS, right? And they say, oh, I see this. I say, oh, really now? What do you see, right? And tell me about it. And they said, well, I can't tell you because I don't know. I go, yeah, I figured that. Bye.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious when they try to contact me with
I
that. I'm
just
like,
do
no,
that.
anytime people contact me and they say that, I'm like, Irene said no, I don't. So yeah,
Yeah. I kind of like do that on purposely. I kind of like do that on purposely because I like to have fun with it. I just like to torture things. I think I just like to torture them.
Well, any of those like online readings where you have like, 100 people watching, or even
Mm-hmm.
something like a gallery reading where there's 20 people in the room, all you
Yep.
have to do is throw broad statements out like, oh, someone has cancer, or somebody was in a car accident. Yeah, somebody in those 20 people is going to have somebody that had a car accident or had cancer.
you have someone in your family with a name that starts with M.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, monkey. No.
Then, I mean, you're
uh,
the people that are gullible enough to believe it.
Mike. No. Oh, that's so funny. And I just like to poke fun at him. And I said, no, I don't think so. Like,
Yeah, what Joanne said. Somebody died on your mother's side of the family, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, clearly.
yeah, exactly. Or she wears a size D bra. I go, oh. I think it's just hilarious. and, and then one of my friends said, you shouldn't be doing that. I said, why not? They open themselves up to this. I said, why not? I'm gonna have fun with this one. I said, you're mean. I go, no. Yeah. They claim they know something about me, so I'm gonna have fun with it. uh it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. So yeah. Like, okay, you're gonna give me a tarot card reading. Okay, great. Let's see what you know about me.
I don't know. Tarot can be a little bit different, though, I think, because, I mean, you're reading the cards. It's not like it's an actual fraud as much as some of the other ones.
Yeah, but I mean, if
I've done tarot cards, but I don't. I don't do the readings for myself just because I tend to. You tend to try and make it to get the answer that you want.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
also
that's
why
what,
I don't.
I mean, if you're, you know, trying to make money off it, you're not going to be telling people like, "Oh, you're going to die in 2 weeks." Like people want to hear positive stuff, you know?
Well, that's also why I don't do readings. I thought for sure I was gonna be one of those people who are like, I'm gonna make money doing readings. But then you realize people only want they only
What you
want to
want to
hear
hear.
what they want to hear. And if the cards don't say that, then you're
Yeah.
kind of
Mm.
SOL and you're not good at your job. You're wrong. You're terrible. And it's like that's not what the cards say.
No.
And even if you're right, they still will not. They won't respect the fact that you're not telling them what they want to hear.
Hmm.
And a lot of people said that, like, yeah, who do readings? Yeah, people only hear, people only want to hear, only go to them to kind of hear what they want to hear. But also the problem is, if they hear what they want to hear,
Mm-hmm.
they can change it, and it's your fault to them. And they
Yeah.
say, and one of the best examples someone gave me is, you tell someone, "Oh, I see a promotion in your near future," and it turns out there is a position opening up soon, and they're trying to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they change it. They're just like, yeah, because you told them they're getting that promotion, they
Yeah.
stopped doing at things at work that they were
Mm-hmm.
doing before to earn that promotion. And obviously, the day you stop doing that, your boss notices. So then they pass it up and it went to someone else because of that, who was still doing all that stuff. And they're
Yeah.
mad at you because you predicted it wrong. It's like, no, you changed it because you stopped doing all the things you were doing. You just kind of started slacking. Like, I got this in a bag. I don't have to be doing this. And it's like
I don't have to do it anymore.
that's
I don't
why
have to
you can
listen.
easily change those cards.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of those readings like influence what you're going to end up doing after it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought for sure. I think a lot of people don't like. No,
That's true.
they're either not gonna like what the cards say, or they're gonna start changing things, and it's gonna be your
Mm.
fault. And it's just I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with the people like that. No.
Mm.
What has been
Yeah.
your favorite technique to investigate?
Um, I actually like doing like multiple SDs, like either double or triple. Um, we always get a lot of cool stuff. Usually it happens. Like we were just up Conneaut hotel this past weekend for a public event, and we did a multiple SDs, and like it was pretty cool because like we were answering each other and everything too. And I think like if you have a connection with a person, it works even better. Um,
Mm.
like if you do it like your spouse or something, or if you like your best friend that you've known forever, like it seems like it works out better.
Mm.
I've heard that where someone said they set up an SD method with two people in obviously different rooms, and they're on
Yeah.
opposite ends of the building. And they said when they were watching it,
Mm-hmm.
it looked like they were having a conversation. Like
Yep.
everything one person said, the other person kind of seems to responded to, and it was like almost like they're having a conversation in the same room. It was so interesting.
I've seen it multiple times. Like even like we had two other investigations recently. One was at Bain Library and one was at a Masonic temple. And the
Mm.
Bain Library one, but it's crazy because the girl who was with us, she was at Conneaut with us too the other day. But it seems like people like everything always ends up picking on her, tries scaring her. Like at the Bain Library thing, there was three of us under, and I don't remember exactly. I was one of the people under, but we were saying stuff that kind of freaked her out. And then at the Masonic Temple, I wasn't under. I was one of the people asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
and they like she would it was like they were picking on her. Like every question, like they were like, "Shut up." All right. Like, and it was the different people. It wasn't the same person. Like everybody didn't want her
Mm.
talking. Which I mean, it was in a Masonic temple, which is
Yeah, I've
male
heard.
dominated. So maybe
Yeah,
they didn't want a woman speaking or something. Especially because she has like a childlike voice. So but
Mm.
it's weird that like like everybody was doing it. And they were in separate corners of the room. Nobody could hear them.
Mm. That sounds interesting.
Mhm.
no, usually Masonic temples. Sometimes women get some responses, and sometimes women have absolutely no luck. And there was one Masonic temple where one woman in a group will have, decent luck, and then another group goes in with one woman, and the woman said, "I had to leave that room because absolutely nothing was happening." So I was
Mm.
like, "You know what? It's probably me." So she left the room, and she said, and the team was like, at first they were like, "No, no, it's probably not you." But she's like, "Nope, I know it's me. They don't like the fact that female is in here," and she walked
Mm.
out. They said after as soon as she walked out, all of a sudden the activity just picked right up.
Mm.
It's like
Yeah,
it's the
well, that,
Masonic temple where if it is someone from the lodge who's haunting that place, usually they don't like women in there because that was their men's only club, and now all of a
yeah.
sudden one dared think she could be in there.
Well, we're supposed to like we went there, did an investigation there, filmed it. We're supposed to be releasing like that's our next big release we're gonna have. We did their convention recently. We released the trailer, which I haven't released the trailer online yet, but I'm going to soon.
Mm.
But after we do that, that was in Pennsylvania. We're supposed to be doing. We when we were at this convention, we met other Masons from different different places, and we met this guy from Canada. So we're supposed to do one in Canada and in Detroit because he's in Windsor, Ontario. Detroit's like 12 minutes away through the tunnel, so they're right across from each other. Detroit's the
Mhm.
biggest Masonic temple in the world. Um,
Mm.
and then we also know a lady who owns a Masonic lodge. It's not a lodge anymore, and she was in Indiana. So we're
Mhm.
gonna probably next year do a little tour and go to them three places in like a week or whatever. So that should be really cool. Probably put out a series on the videos.
Mm. That sounds interesting.
Mhm.
Someone said, and I do recommend this next time you go to an investigation with your team. Someone mentioned this, and then I mentioned it to other teams. They tried it, and they actually got good luck on it. But they'll sit around in a circle, and I'll have like a recorder. One person asks a question, and then you wait like 30 seconds. Give anyone there time to respond. You pass it to the next person in a circle. They ask the same question.
Mhm.
Give it time. Pass. Same thing. And a lot of teams actually said when they did it, they had good. It was a good method for them, just because the fact is they realized one spirit will answer for only one person, and another
Mm.
spirit will answer for just one other person. So you never
Yeah,
Mhm.
know who's gonna answer you, why they want to, but this way, if everyone in there is asking random questions, they might be waiting for like we all investigate together, and they only want, especially in Masonic Lodge, they only want to
Mm.
talk to you, Sean. But me and
yeah,
Irene are asking questions, they're not going to respond. But then when you ask a question, they might answer. And they say they just realize anytime this person would ask a question, you'd hear an answer from a spirit. And it's always like the same kind of, it's not like the same voice every time.
Mm.
but that's kind of actually when we were at the temple. Kat was well the first time we went for the actual real investigation. Kat was the only female that was with us, and it was kind of like that. We were asking questions down by where the bar was, and
Mhm.
weren't really getting much interaction. But we had Kat ask, and when Kat asked, like it seemed like it responded to her more than it was responding to us.
Mhm. Yeah. Um. They have selective hearing, selective thinking.
It's not just
Mhm.
selective hearing, though, but
Yeah.
as people say, is
Yeah, I think like
someone
it depends on the location and
Yeah.
what's going on too. Because I mean, I know when we went to Loveland Castle,
Mhm.
that we actually had like paranormal activity, like like stuff moving and everything, like poltergeist activity. I mean, not paranormal.
Mhm.
Um, but we had a psychic who was from the UK that we used to do a lot of stuff with. We don't really talk to her as much anymore, but she was always pretty spot on with stuff. Like there would be stuff that would happen not live, and she would talk about it later on, like, oh, you had dogs barking or something. Like, how did you know we had dogs? Like it was. She was pretty good. Um, but we had a spirit at Loveland Castle that
Mhm.
I guess I'm a big guy or whatever, and I guess she felt like protected by me, so she was interacting with
Mhm.
me more than anybody else because she like wanted me to protect her, I guess, from something bad at the place. But I don't know, like it definitely, and even like when we went to the prisons before, I've like role played and played like a prison guard just
Mhm.
to like try to get interaction or something, When somebody that's like 5'2" and just like a little person, they're not probably going to get a response from.
Mm, mm,
That's a
yeah.
good. No, I've done that before in a haunted place where we played prisoners, and then we're like, I wonder if we walked in here act like we're one of the guards.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you look at me going into like a men's prison pretending to be a guard, they don't believe me. They're just like, yeah, okay. I'm not saying there's not tough guards out there, but I'm saying for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, no. Let's not. We're not going to pretend that you think you're tough enough to be a guard in a prison. I'm like, yeah, that's legit.
True.
So I can see like if you were pretending to be a guard versus me, you probably get better reaction,
Yeah. I mean, I'm
believable reaction than me.
like 6'2", 300 pounds, and I got tattoos and stuff, so I
Walk in there
probably
deep.
fit in a little bit better. Either I could be a prisoner too, I guess.
That'd be a neat role playing game that you could do,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Go, especially when you go to like a jail.
Yeah.
You can also figure that ahead of time if you're in a group. Okay, who's gonna be a prisoner? Who's a guard?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that'd be interesting to
Hey, what's
see.
up, Goat? He used to be the caretaker at Bel Air House. That guy just commented.
Mm, that's interesting. Ooh.
Anything new going on with you, Sean?
We might have a home investigation this weekend. I'm not sure yet. And then the weekend after is when we're doing the haunted mine thing. We have a vendor table the first day, like a meet and greet and pictures and merch and stuff. And then the second night we're acting, which we're going to be doing a public investigation there too. We just can't do it right now because it's too busy during Halloween season. And we have investigated the place privately before too.
Are you doing
I think
anything
the
for
only reason
Halloween?
why around Halloween people say,
Mm.
"Oh, we celebrate Halloween because that's when the veil is thin." I
Yeah.
personally think it's because people make the veil thin just
Mm.
because everyone thinks, "Oh, it's spooky season, it's spooky month. This is when we have to obviously do seances, mess with the Ouija board." And I've seen a lot more of that then, and it's because a lot of people, like I said, it's Halloween month, the spooky month. You're supposed to hold a seance in October. You're supposed to
Yeah.
Ugh.
do it, right? And I'm like, this is why the veil is thin, is people are doing because it's
Yeah.
spooky month. People assume this is when I have to go out and do something spooky, and I'm like, if you don't do it rest of the year, please don't do it in October.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
know what you're opening.
we don't have anything on Halloween, but November 2nd, we're going to be at Old College Hill Hospital again, which we've done that place before, but nothing on Halloween.
Mm.
We do have another public at Main Library. That's October 26th. But yeah, I
Mm.
think that's pretty much whatever's coming up for us.
I have not been to the Bel Air house yet, so I know you asked, have you been to Ohio before? I have been to Ohio, not to the Bel Air house, because I used to have family in Ohio. Because I grew up in Michigan, so having family in Ohio, obviously close, so we visit them a lot. But right now I'm in Japan, so it's not like I can visit places in the United States. A lot of
Hey,
places
Amanda,
are
let's
just
go.
like, yeah, a lot of places are just like, hey, you want to come investigate my haunted location? I'm like, I'm in Japan, so really, physically, no.
Oh,
Maybe
Amanda,
in the
we need
future
to
I'll
take a
get back
road
to you.
trip. Amanda, we need to take a road trip. You know that, right?
Oh, here we will, and we'll film it and post it.
Mhm.
We need to take a road trip. Like
We'll
I'm
do that.
kind of like
Lots of
I'm
places
getting
to visit.
cabin fever right now.
I've been
Now, do you
wanting
have
to.
like a team over there, or just you two go out, or?
It's just
Just
us because
it's just
here in
us.
Japan, that's the first thing first thing I did when I got to Japan is I'm going to dive into the paranormal community. I'm going to book all these haunted places to investigate. I can't wait to reach out to all the teams in Japan, try and get to know them, maybe join one. And then I'm looking and I'm not. She's laughing because she's like, there are no teams. There's literally no teams. I finally found her through social media. because everyone
Mm.
always asks me, and I'm like, you know how I met the most beautiful woman in Japan and became partners with her? I met her through social media.
Mm.
She was like, "Yeah, it's just me here in Tokyo doing the spooky stuff. No one, and people who live here don't." I say live here because people are like, "Well, I visit. I'm into spooky." I'm like, "Okay, yes, there is obviously a difference in a tourist and visiting here and people who live here. People who live
Yeah,
here don't admit to it.
Mm.
yeah, yeah. I just don't say anything.
It's more taboo here because, as Irene can tell you, I know in the United States, if you with HR, if you because a lot of people say, "Yeah, my HR knows what we do." They just said, "Don't wear your work shirt or drive your work truck or have anything with the logo or don't mention on anything that you're filming for the paranormal. Don't mention where you work. There's nothing we could legally do.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's separate." Here in Japan, it's different. Where if they hear you may or may not be into ghosts,
Mhm.
you're gonna get terminated.
Yeah.
You admit that you think you saw a ghost, you're probably gonna get terminated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pilot
most people seem pretty open to it that I deal with.
in Japan, it's
We
not.
definitely have more people like trying to join than like I guess because we're a little bit established maybe. Because I mean, at the first, at the beginning, it wasn't like that as much, but now like we have people that come up to us at conventions like, oh, if you're ever looking for somebody, or oh, do you need a psychic, or this or that, or like we already have too many people. you know,
Mm.
that's why we kind of have like our core members, which are like the full time team, and then we have some part time or affiliate people. If we have a big location, we can bring extra people out. Like we'll contact them.
Yeah. It's it's the opposite here.
Mhm.
Yeah. You don't tell anybody. I don't tell any.
I'll send a
Oh,
couple people over to Japan for you guys.
It's just
yeah. Well.
yeah, I only found her that was admitting who lived in Japan admitting to being a paranormal. And Irene can even tell you, I mean, even with Japanese airline pilots, they can't even say they think they saw a UFO because
No.
if they're either going to get desk work, they're going to be no longer a pilot, or either
Yeah.
if they are working for the airline, it's just desk work, or you're just going to get terminated. One of those two.
Yeah. And for anything with the paranormal, good luck, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind saying what I do. It's just who I say it to and where I say it, right? I'm pretty
Irene, do
open.
you eat a lot of rice?
I do.
We
I
do, but
do.
right now Japan is in a rice shortage.
Oh
No,
So
okay.
yeah, rice is extremely expensive. Ugh. I think they're doing it on purposely, you know that? They did the same thing with butter and
well,
Mm.
milk.
everyone is keeping things water and then rice are the two biggest things right now being sold here in
Mhm.
Japan because we just had two earthquakes not too long ago. Usually they're in the
Mm.
springs here, so this late is not common.
Yeah.
And
We
there's
have big hurricanes going on right now.
yeah, people
Yeah.
are stocking up on rice and water because they keep predicting a third one coming. It's supposed to be a mega quake of 9.0. They
Mhm.
Oh
thought
wow.
it was they were saying we thought it was gonna come much later, but we think it's actually gonna come much sooner. They
Yeah.
thought it was gonna happen by now, so that's why people are stocking up, but they said it's probably gonna happen soon. Which now they're also saying the same thing about California. So
Yeah. But
that
there's big right now there's like our country is made up with lots of volcanoes, okay? There's one volcano that's spitting up lava, so we're wondering if that has to do something to do with it, right?
Mhm.
That's gonna create the next earthquake. And we're saying, yeah, okay, you know, if that happens, I'm gonna go back to bed again. I'm not gonna wake up. I don't give a
Irene is
hoot.
so used to earthquakes that there's been a couple of podcasts where she's like, "Oh, I'm in an earthquake," and I'm like, "Do you need to go?" "No, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
just watching
I'm
everything shake." but I'm
I'm
good.
holding up my china cabinet and I said, "Yeah, we're good." Look at see the room's going.
Well, especially in Tokyo, because Tokyo's usually the epicenter of them. She's so
Yeah,
used to it. It's another day. There's been
yeah,
times where Irene once woke up, she messaged me, and she's like, "I'm in an earthquake, but I'm going back to bed. If I die, it's my time."
See where I'm staying at right now, like I said, I'm in my camp. We get a lot of floods. I'm right by the creek, and
mm,
we actually my golf cart's actually destroyed because of it because it was my golf cart was submerged underwater. So yeah, we get a lot of
mm.
floods up here.
We get a lot of rain too, don't we, Amanda?
We do.
Mm.
Yeah. We
The
just had
underground subway was
we just had
soaked.
our own hurricane or typhoon. We just had our own
Yeah.
typhoon. But
Mm.
we had another one that was supposed to come not too long ago, but luckily it turned into a tropical storm. And that was right before the one hit in America.
Yeah.
So that's also why we haven't done a lot of scheduling for people because we're just kind of waiting to see what weather does for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that Milton or whatever is in Florida right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh,
You okay,
but
Gary?
yeah, I'm okay. But yeah, it seems like the weather is going really crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's
I mean,
funny.
that's
So
even like
when
we had a lot of tornadoes this year too, like more than ever.
Mm.
it's funny because with the typhoon that we had not too long ago, the actual typhoon that hit. So it hit me down here in the south because I live in Nagasaki, which is the very bottom of the island.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it came it hit up me, it was up in my area, but for some reason when it just got north from my area, just north of me, when the worst was just north of me, it disappeared. And even scientists and the meteorologist was watching, they're like, we don't know where it went. Like it was there, it hit really hard, it was still hitting hard, it doesn't look like it's letting up, then all of a sudden out of nowhere it's just like vanished. No more storm.
Hmm.
And then they're like, we don't know why. All of a sudden it went from strong to where the hell it went, it just stops.
Yeah, because she lives near the ocean, right? I live more inland. We just get soaked.
And you
We
get
just
like
get
tsunamis and stuff down there too, or
yeah,
yeah.
we get those too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like going swimming after tsunami. It's so much fun.
Yeah, we had the last typhoon hit though, and I told Irene, "What it's funny because I was looking up something on Japan's Amazon, and it told me the three most things searched for and bought. Number one was water. And I'm like, Irene was telling me about this. That stores around her, even in
Mhm.
Tokyo, was sold out on water and rice. So
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
can't find it on Amazon. So number one thing searched for and sold was water. Number three was rice. No, number two was rice. And then for some reason, number three was Pokemon. So I'm like, way to have your priorities straight, Japan. Oh, we might be
They
the
were trying to
natural.
catch a water Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, things might get destroyed because of this thing. Let me go ahead and order a bunch of Pokemon.
My first thing would be water, not rice. I think packaged rice, cooked
Well,
packaged
yeah,
rice
it's
would be
water,
number
then it's
two.
rice, and then it's
Yeah.
Pokemon.
And then my third one would be a rubber dinghy, right? That would be my that would be my or galoshes, right? That would be my that would be my thing what I would need. Like I I used to say, well, we're having another typhoon. Oh, somebody send me a rubber dinghy, please. Like I don't care about Pokemon.
Apparently, here is just, oh, we're having another natural disaster come in. Let me order more Pokemon.
Oh
Or
darn.
they're also still called pocket monsters over here too. So
Not really.
they go by both names.
Yeah. Yeah. I think mm, we get rained out really bad in the underground subways, and it's like buckets of water come down.
Mm.
And it's so bad that they have to close the underground subway because it's just soaked. They
Yeah.
just get all rained out. It gets really bad here. So, but yeah, we're kind of like used to it. Mm, oh well, another rain. Okay, they'll deal with it. We'll get used to it. We're used to it. They said, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like nonchalant, right, Amanda? Oh well, it rained again. Oh well, another tropical storm came. Okay, like, well, too bad. Like, I think other places they're still dealing with a lot of rain along the Japanese seaside
Okay.
because yeah, it just flooded the whole town. I think it seems like. I don't know, but the veil is getting really thin around the areas where I don't know. It's kind of It's, yeah, I could say that word. It's kind of crazy,
Hmm.
and a lot of crazy things are happening, and I don't know. I still don't know. It's it's around my area. There's a lot more suicides now than ever. It's creating a really thin veil, and it's not scary, but it's questionable of what's going on.
Part of the
Hmm.
reason for that, though, is but Japan being a mostly Buddhist country, there is a Buddhist belief that if you're not happy in this life,
Yeah,
you can take your own life and start again in the next life.
yeah,
So that's also why you see a lot of people doing that. Is it mental health is not as much of a thing here
no,
as it is in America. That's one thing
Hmm.
that we were told coming over here is they had to make sure mental health wise you're okay because if you're not really going to get the help over here.
yeah,
There's not really anything down here. Irene says maybe there's a couple of
mm,
psychiatrists up there, but she's also in Tokyo. So I also tell people, me and Irene, we both live in Japan, but we live with two different. I don't want to say worlds, but you know what I'm doing. You know what I mean, though, Irene,
it is the
where
rules. Yeah,
my area is so different than hers. I live more rural, more elderly compared to Irene. Obviously,
Hmm.
I with me living in the country, more rural, and her living in one of the biggest cities in the world, I'm always like, yeah, obviously my little area is different than hers. I have a lot more cryptids than she does over there, but she has more of the suicidal spirit. So,
Okay.
but the North Japan has their own weird things going on that no one can explain either. So there's always that. I see how much you care about us, Michael. I thought we're all friends.
oh, thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
You know, glad you dropped in, dear. I'm still gonna send you that haunted doll that you really love. It'll keep you company at night.
But Irene does have a cryptid up there. I think it's more seen in her area than in mine. I forgot the name of this thing, but it's you might have heard of this, Sean, where it's the body of a dog, but its face is human.
Okay.
And I think it's more up there. And the reason for it is the urban legend behind it is they think it'd be like, let's say you're walking your dog, you get hit by a car, and you both unfortunately did not make it.
Hmm.
They think your spirits went kind of combined them together to make the body of the dog and be your dog's body and your face.
Okay.
That's literally that's the thing behind it. Where they're super strong and they can run almost as fast as cars, where people will claim they'll be driving down the highway and this
Mhm.
dog creature is running next to them and can jump on their windshield. I'm like, I would
Mm.
have a heart attack if that happened to
Yeah.
me. They're supposed to be
Mm.
they have not killed anyone, but they have been aggressive towards people. Like people will see them and they'll to kind of tell them, "Get away from me before I hurt you."
Yeah.
I think I'd be scared out of my wits if I saw that.
I mean, everyone would be scared driving down the road and you see the body of a dog, human face running next to you, then jumps in the hood of your car.
Yeah. Can I get out my crucifix?
The one thing that takes you down, Irene.
Dang. Okay. What prayers do I know that I can use this? Like, oh, my head's coming up blank. Great, good one for that one, right? Like, yeah, I'd be like that. What?
Yes, we have cat spirits too.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
cat's like, don't
we
forget cat
got.
spirit. Got a lot of, yeah. Beck and Neckos is what they're called.
Yeah,
Beck and
fucking
Neckos?
echo.
Yeah. Got a few of those.
Yeah, we got a. There's the monkey spirit too, I think.
Oh, there's a spirit for almost every animal, Irene.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Fox spirit, dog spirit, that kind of
Yeah.
spirit. Turtle,
Fox.
toads.
Yeah. Flying
You start the
spirits
series
too.
again talking about the urban legends. We have thousands, Irene.
Yeah, I know. Which one?
Unfortunately, we don't have. So we do have our own Bigfoot here, but they're like 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people keep saying, "Well, that sounds like adolescent." And I'm like, I don't know. It's only been seen as 5 foot tall. We don't have any actual cryptid researchers here. I'm like, why don't you and your team come to Japan and try and research it? Because I guarantee any information you find out about it is
Is
going to be new and
yours?
groundbreaking because no one else has tried and no one else has information on any of the cryptids here. Like
No.
especially with that one, it's just like it was more of like the area and what it looked like, and it smells. If you smell it, it smells like rotting flesh. That's a lot of people
Mm.
say. That's true for most of. We were talking about that before. Is if we did one about cryptids, unfortunately, it'd be us basically listing off just a bunch of them, just because we don't really have a lot of information about our cryptids. And well, it's usually this is where it's found. This is what it looks like. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sometimes some other ones have like more. It might have another sentence about information about it. Other than that, there's not really much information. That's why I tell any cryptid hunters out there, please come to Japan. No one else is competing with you. You want competition? Bring your own. There's
Yeah.
no competition to it.
It'll be called yours.
Yes, it's all yours. Like I said, any information is new and groundbreaking. Come out here,
Mm.
research it. Then come. Then it's only fair that you got the idea for Spooky Japan podcast. Come on,
Mm.
podcast and tell us about it.
Well, that's that convention I just did in Johnstown at the temple. It was the Western Pennsylvania Cryptid and Paranormal Expo. So they had a lot of cryptid people there. Bill Rigsby, I actually just met him for the first time, and he was at Conneaut last week too, because for their psychic fair that was going on. But he does all that Bigfoot stuff, and actually supposed to be doing uh, his cryptid show or whatever that he does in March. Like he has his own convention too, where he gets a pretty decent amount. I mean, the speakers are all cryptid, not paranormal, but I'm supposed to go like as a vendor or whatever. But yeah, there was a lot of cryptid people at that thing.
Mm.
Encourage them to come to Japan. Tell them we have a lot and no one willing to research.
I've never really done any cryptid stuff. I'd like to. Like that's what I was telling him. I was like, yeah, I'd like to go out with you sometime, maybe.
Yeah, I can't do it. I know if people ask me, "Why don't you do it?" I wouldn't know where to begin. I don't. That's totally different than the paranormal stuff I'm used to. I wouldn't even
Yeah.
know where to begin. So
And
I
even the
want.
table that was next to us, they were Bigfoot people too. I don't remember what they were called, but there was a lot of different things there, aliens and stuff too. People, deal with aliens and all that. So I've never done nothing really with that either.
Anyway, Sean, I know it's getting late for you, and we appreciate you
Yeah.
coming on our show. Hopefully, we have
Yep.
you on for a third time, maybe a fourth time. But
Yeah.
we'll get in touch with you in regards to that.
I mean, I
And
could
come
bring another
come back and
person
talk
sometime
about
if you want to, maybe.
where you're going next. and tell us what you saw and tell us what you felt, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
It's always interesting when you come on our show. Like
Yeah.
I said, we greatly appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, everyone who listened and joined in, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.